it doesn't change the 12 years that just happened to these people and the loss of all that generational wealth. What about that? So whatever happens next with this whole game that's going on with these 12 missing years, where my people got treated like niggers, they did, and some white folks too got treated like niggers as well. I'm not leaving them out. But the bottom line is, when the feds roll in here, heaven help them.
Look at all these white people at Waka. Ain't nary a nigga in there. And you got Vicki Christopherson up there, famous for holding, meetings that violate the law and her public policy stance, all of it. She's part of the whole problem. She's the spearhead.
Great day, guys. Happy holidays and all that jazz. Just a couple things here that I wanted to get straight. First thing pertaining to the ongoing litigation against the so-called black excellence in cannabis. I found it interesting. Courts take judicial notice of media accounts. And Mr. Postman, I know we had that row a little bit ago about whether or not people were journalists, but you would agree that like Cannabis Observer, those guys are journalists, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not going to do that. Go ahead.
Okay, what we're going to do, though, is we're going to assume, arguendo, that Cannabis Observer are journalists, and they observed that Peter Manning is a, quote, co-founder, unquote, of Black Excellence in Cannabis. This logically means, if I may infer, that there are other co-founders, and that if Peter Manning went off, as he did on my birthday in 2022, and got a corporate entity without telling these other partners, there's a problem there. So that's going to be discussed. That's the first thing. The next thing is, in 1972, my uncle, Otis Anderson, was a aerospace engineer out here. And he told me, I said, Uncle Otis, I came out to visit. I said, I'm going to move to Seattle. And he said, son, let me tell you something. It's kind of an anti-nigger machine out here, And I said, wow. And he said, yeah, you may think it's a lot of tree huggers and it's all fair and good and all that, but it really isn't. And I took that to heart. But I nonetheless moved out here, and I've had a great time in general. But I look forward to the things that are happening now and what happened in cannabis. And no matter what kind of glad handing you guys are all doing out here and the so-called transparency you're having now, I know that Director Lucala still hasn't really shown his face much at all. That's the first thing. And I'm ready to congratulate him on maybe potentially setting up the loan program out there in Colorado that I talked about. But hey, he's like Mr. Snuffleupagus. Can't never see that brother.
Now, you hold Snuffy's snuffle and make sure he doesn't get away, and then I'll go yell the secret word, food.
Yeah, Elmo holds Snuffle.
And don't let go until all the grown-ups come and see him, okay?
Ooh, I gotcha. Ooh, go, big.
Next, Vicki Christopherson and her merry band of pranksters, all of this whole thing set up so horribly 12 years ago that no matter what happens now, if these licenses ever get issued, and people ever actually start making money, people of color and some white folks that got shafted by, the establishment, it doesn't change the 12 years that just happened to these people and the loss of all that generational wealth. What about that? Because when the whole social equity thing started, it was all about that. And now instead, I'm seeing people like Hollingsworth's in bed with Ian Eisenberg, who had the nerve to say I was full of shit, literally, and then started following me quietly on my Facebook page. And people like Ian Eisenberg, who sat there and played games with daycare centers and video game centers just to get his, stores where he wanted his stores. All right. And now I see my black people partnering with that. Okay. I don't like that. And I don't have to like that. And I'm allowed to tell you that I don't like that. And that's what I'm doing. So whatever happens next with this whole game that's going on with these 12 missing years, where my people got treated like niggers, they did. And some white folks too got treated like niggers as well. I'm not leaving them out. But the bottom line is, when the feds roll in here, heaven help them. Whatever they've got or allegedly got with these licenses, all that gap of 12 years, while an elite bunch of largely white people clocked all those dollars, all right? No, I'm taking time. I'm in the middle of physical therapy. I just had my hip replaced, okay? I got a resurfacing so I can still hit tennis. But I'm taking my time out, and my therapist is like, yeah, I agree with you. Go tell them, all right? It's ridiculous.
Christopher, you have 30 seconds.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what's going on with that piece. And I look forward to seeing where the litigation goes as far as this cease and desist that Peter Manning had the nerve to send to Aaron Barfield. That's just so abusive. And I can't even believe it. Anyway, I'm going back to therapy. I wish y'all a happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and all that stuff. Cheers.
And to you. Okay, let's go back and just check here.
We just got thrown out for the social equity meeting. They didn't want to hear from us. And I gave him the suggestion, which would be to help, pay back these guys who had licenses. And Kevin, I explained the whole fact that, license conveys with you a bundle of rights, privileges, and responsibilities that are protected. And I laid it out there, man, and they just cut me right off.
Absolutely.
They suck, man.
Again, the conversation has been closed.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Right.
About us African Americans who were, in cannabis before the Cannabis Board existed, from 2009 up until, 2012 when they formed. Why did the conversation get closed? The first couple of social equity meetings were about repairing and redressing and restoring the licenses for those African Americans like me that helped pave the way for the cannabis market today. Welcome to Seattle.